If you're choosing an AI code review tool for GitHub right now, it looks like a buyer's market. More tools support GitHub than any other Git provider. Every shortlist looks reasonable, and every vendor page promises context-aware analysis. And on the surface, they're all telling the truth. Almost every one of these tools can post inline comments on a pull request. That part is solved. But that's also where the feature table stops being useful. If every tool clears the same bar, comparing them on it tells you nothing. The decision you actually care about, the one your engineers will feel every day, is hiding underneath it. Most teams already live this, even if they've never put a name on it. The hard part of software was never writing the code, it was trusting it. Anyone or anything can produce a diff now. Someone still has to vouch for it before it ships. That's what a code review tool is really for. It's not there to generate more, it's there to help you earn the right to merge. So the question you should be asking isn't, does it support GitHub? It's, can I trust how it behaves inside the workflow my team already runs? That question splits into 4 things that matter, and none of them show up on the badge on the homepage. First, signal to noise. A tool that flags 30 things per pull request and never learns from your team's overrides gets muted within a quarter. You paid for it, and your engineers are now trained to scroll past it. The tools that survive are the ones that learn from their prior decisions and prune their own noise. Second, context depth. This is the single biggest spread in the category. Most tools reason about one file, or at best, the diff in front of them. A few reach into the surrounding repository. Very few reason about repository boundaries, which, if you run microservices, is exactly where your production-breaking bugs actually live. Third, integration quality. Support GitHub ranges from a webhook that posts a comment all the way to a tool that runs as a GitHub action, respects code owners and branch protection, and can sit as a required status check on a merge. One of those plugs into your approval workflow. The other one fights it. And fourth, what the tool is optimized for. Some are built for speed, lighter reviews to keep pull requests moving. Some are built for security. And some are built for quality and governance, the architecture rules and cross-repo consistency that have to hold as the team grows. Knowing which job you need is what keeps the evaluation honest. Now, if your team is already paying for Copilot Business or Enterprise, you already have an AI reviewer. Copilot Code Review reads the diff, posts suggestions inline, and stays in the GitHub UI. For a single repo team, turning it on is a one-click decision, and honestly, that's often plenty. It does help to know where the design stops though. It looks at one pull request at a time. It doesn't check a change against shared API contracts in your other services. It doesn't carry a rules layer that learns from your team's past decisions, and it runs as a single reviewer rather than a set of specialized agents. And none of that makes it wrong. It just means that once you need a cross-repo reasoning or rules that get enforced instead of suggested, you're not looking at a feature upgrade. You're looking at a different category of a tool. Let me show you an example of the exact kind of bug that walks straight through a single repo review. So this is an API server repository where I've opened a pull request. Inside this pull request, I made a simple change. But this change has actually affected my other repository, web client. Qodo has left a comment on this pull request. Looking at the details of this comment reveals that I have introduced a breaking change. Although my API server will build and pass and deploy with no problem, suddenly my web client will totally break. The evidence provided in the comment will point me to the exact line of code that is going to be affected by this API server change. As you can see, bug isn't always visible inside a single repo. There's nothing wrong with the diff we just saw, but Qodo catches it because it maps how your repositories actually depend on each other. It finds downstream consumers and surfaces the conflict at review time, before merge, not during an incident call. Here's the dimension that narrows the field faster than anything else, and it's the one engineers rarely raise, but leaders always have to. Where can it run? On the SaaS side, nearly everything can post a comment and run as a GitHub action. But the moment you ask about GitHub Enterprise Server, the list gets shorter. Ask about air-gapped or sovereign deployment for regulated or government work, and most of the list is gone. Source code that cannot be routed through external SaaS isn't a preference, it's a hard constraint, and a lot of tools simply treat it as a roadmap item. You can see what that's worth once it's running across a real organization. Monday.com runs Qodo across their engineering team on GitHub and reports it prevents around 800 potential issues from reaching production every month, while saving roughly an hour per pull request. A global retailer with over 14,000 developers deployed it into an air-gapped environment and recorded more than 450,000 developer hours saved in the first year across 2,000 repositories. Those numbers only happen when the tool is actually trusted by the people using it. A muted tool saves you nothing. If you're already on Copilot and your work lives inside a single repo, start there, it's already paid for. Run it for a sprint and judge the signal quality before you add anything. The moment your architecture has more than one service depending on another, or the moment standards need to be enforced consistently instead of suggested, that's a different job, and you'll want a tool built for it. And if you're on enterprise server or air-gapped, that constraint quietly makes the choice for you. Look past the GitHub badge on a homepage. The real question was never whether a tool can comment on a pull request, it's whether you can trust how it behaves inside a workflow your team already runs.